In this video, we're going to talk about how to solve rational inequalities. And I think you're going to find it's going to be very similar to the way that we solved polynomial inequalities in the previous video. Okay, so first thing that you do is make sure that you have 0 on one side of the inequality. So in this question, we already have 0 on one side of the inequality. We're good. We're good for that. Next thing you're going to have to do is factor. Alright, so to factor, before I start factoring, I just want to remind us that a squared minus b squared, this is the same thing as a plus b times a minus b. Okay, you can double check this by foiling, and you can double check that that's right. So when I see over here that I have x squared minus 9, that's the same thing as saying I have x squared minus 3 squared. So x squared minus 9 is going to be x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, so I can factor it like that. And then same thing on the bottom, I have x squared plus 8 squared, basically. So x plus 8, x minus 8. Alright. Okay, so now, when, let's see, when the top of this fraction equals 0, the whole thing will equal 0. If x equals, in this case, if x equals negative 3, or if x equals positive 3, the whole thing will be 0, right? And it'll be equal. So let's go ahead and write this on a number line here. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. Okay, so at 3, there's going to be a solution. At 3 and at negative 3. So I'm going to put solid dots there, because that's when it's going to be this is going to be equal to 0, right? So this will be 0 when x is negative 3. This one will be 0 when x is positive 3. So the whole thing will be 0 then. Okay. Then also, this will be undefined when x equals negative 8, because negative 8 plus 8 was 0, so you'll have a fraction where it's a number up top and then a 0 on the bottom, so that's undefined. Okay, so I'm going to put an open circle there at negative 8. Same deal at positive 8, because positive 8 minus 8 is 0, so you'll have an open circle at 8 and negative 8. Okay, and the reason is because it's undefined. The left-hand side of the inequality is undefined at those guys. Alright, so now I have the same sort of test points. I'm gonna be using test points the same way I did with polynomials, so I'm going to go ahead and test in all the different areas. I'm going to test if it's, if we plug in some number that's less than negative 8, is this positive or negative? I'm going to test if I plug in some number that's between negative 8 and 3. I'm going to test between negative 3 and 3, 3 and 8, and then greater than 8. Okay, so I'm going to do a lot of test points here. But, okay, so first, let's go ahead and test x equals 9. So I just need to know, is this going to be positive or negative? So if I have x equals negative 9, so I have negative 9 plus 3, and negative 9 minus 3, minus 3, and then negative 9 plus 8, negative 9 minus 8. Okay, so let's see, I will have a negative number times negative 9 plus 3 is negative, and then negative 9 minus 3, that's also a negative number. And then on the bottom, negative 9 plus 8 is a negative number, and negative 9 minus 8 is also a negative number. So I'm going to have negative times negative divided by negative times negative. That's going to be a positive, right? Because on the top, when you multiply out the two negatives, you get positive. bottom, multiply out the two negatives, you get positive, and then you have positive divided by positive, which is positive. Okay, so this is positive. So it's positive over here. All right, so now let's test out a point that's between -8 and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and test out -6. So I'll do -6 plus 3, -6 minus 3 over -6 plus 8, -6 minus 8. Okay, so then I'll have, so -6 minus 3 is a negative number. It's -3. -6 minus 3 is also a negative number. -6 plus 8 is a positive number. It's 2, right? -6 minus 8 is a negative number. Okay, so on the top here, I have negative minus negative. I mean, negative times negative, which is positive. And then on the bottom, I have negative times positive, which is a negative. So I'll have positive over negative, which is a negative. Okay, so this will be negative between here. Okay. Let me do another one between -3 and 3. I'll go ahead and choose x equals 0 just because it's nice and easy. It doesn't matter what point you choose, right? So if I choose x equals 0, I'll have 0 plus 3 over 0 minus 3 over 0 plus 8, 0 minus 8. So I'll have positive 3, then -3, and positive 8, and -8. Okay, the negatives cancel, so you end up getting a positive. So positive here. Okay, 2 more test points I need. So I'm going to go and choose, I'll choose 6. All right, for the next one. So x equals 6. So then I'll have, let's see, 6 plus 3, 6 minus 3, okay, 6 plus 8, 6 minus 8. Okay, so 6 plus 3 is 9, which is positive. 6 minus 3 is 3, which is positive. And then on the bottom, positive, negative. 6 minus 8 is -2, right? So I have positive multiplied on top, and then a negative on the bottom. So positive divided by a negative is going to be negative. Okay, so it's going to be negative here. Negative there. Okay. All right, last one. We'll do x equals 9. So we'll have 9 plus 3, 9 minus 3 over 9 plus 8, and 9 minus 8. Okay, all of these guys are going to be positive, so the answer is positive, right? There's no negative number if you were to do the arithmetic here. So these guys are all positive. All right, so the question was, when is this negative, right? Less than 0 is negative. When is this negative? Okay, so it's negative here, and it's negative here. So now I'm ready to write my solution. So my solution, let me go ahead and I'll write that in red here. So my solution is going to be, I'll start at -8, okay? Now I have a parentheses, not a bracket, I have a soft parentheses, and the reason is because, remember, I don't equal -8 because then it would be undefined, right? And then I go all the way to -3, and I do equal -3 because I'm allowed to have the equality of equaling 0. And when x is -3, the top is 0, so I'm allowed to equal -8, or I'm allowed to equal -3. Okay, that, and then also same thing, 3 to 8, and I can equal 8. Okay, so now let's do another example. You'll notice that in this example, we don't start with having 0 on this side of the equation. So the first thing we're going to have to do is set the right-hand side of the equation equal to 0. So to do that, I'm going to add 4 to both sides of the equation. So I'll have 2x plus 4 over 2x minus 6. And I'm going to add 4 over here. -4 plus 4 is 0. Okay, so now I have 0 on one side of the equation, so that's what I need to do. Now I need to combine this. I need to get common denominators so that I can add 2x plus 4 I can add basically this fraction plus this guy. Okay, so I'm going to get common denominators. Let's see, 2x minus 6, and then I'm going to multiply this by 2x minus 6 over 2x minus 6. Alright, because, you know, this is basically what I do. I multiply 4 by 1, right? I didn't do anything. Alright, so now I have 2x plus 4 over 2x minus 6 plus, and I'm going to distribute this 4 into the numerator there. So I'll have 8x minus 24 over 2x minus 6. Okay, so now that they have common denominators, I can add them. So 2x plus 4 plus 8x minus 24 all over 2x minus 6. Okay, let's bring this up here. So let me go ahead and combine like terms. So I have 2x plus 8x, so that's going to make 10x. And then 4 minus 24, so that's going to make negative 20. And then I have 2x minus 6. All that is less than 0. Okay, so same thing now as I did in the previous example. I'm going to go ahead and set the top equal to 0. I want to know when does it equal 0. Okay, and let's see. Add 20 to both sides, so I'll get 10x equals 20. And divide both sides by 10, so I'll get x equals 10. Oh, that's not right. Let me erase that. Oh, can't erase. Okay, so not 10, but 20 divided by 10, which is 2. Okay, x equals 2. All right, then I have 2x minus 6. Also, let's set that equal to 0 as well. It will be undefined at that point. The left-hand side will be undefined. Okay, so let's go ahead and find where it's undefined. So I'll add 6 to both sides, so I'll get 2x equals 6. Divide both sides by 2, and I'll get x equals 3. Okay, so let me draw my number line now. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3. Let me go ahead and extend my number line a little bit. 4. Okay? Alright, so at x equals 2, I have an open circle. And why is that? It's because this must be strictly less than 2, or less than 0, right? So there's no less than or equal to 0. And when x equals 2, this this left-hand side equals 0, okay? So that's why I have the open circle there. And then at 3, I also have an open circle. And that's because the left-hand side is undefined when x equals 3. Okay, so now I just need to plug in some test points, okay, to find when the left-hand side is negative. So first I'll plug in the test point 1. Okay, so then I'll have 10, 1 minus 20 over 2 times 1 minus 60. So that's basically, so 10 minus 20 is negative 10 over 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative and a negative are positive. Okay, so this is going to be positive over here. Alright, I'm going to erase that to save space because I'm running out of space here. Alright, now I need to pick a test point that's between 2 and 3. So to do that, I'll just pick, let's say I'll take 5 halves, which is the same thing as 2 and 1 half, right? So I'll do 10 times 5 halves minus 20 over 2 and 5 halves minus 6. Okay, 10 times 5 halves, let's see, that's going to be, well, this will cancel, and I'll be left with 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then 25 minus 20 is 5, right? And then, let's see, these two will cancel. So it'll be a 5 minus 6, which is negative 1. So this is going to be a negative. Because 5 divided by negative 1 is negative number. Negative 5. Okay. Then lastly, let's do one more test point. We'll try the point x equals 4. Just needs to be any point that's more than 3. So I'll try the point x equals 4. So 10 times 4 minus 20 over 2 times 4 minus 6. Okay, so it's going to be 40 minus 20 over 2 times 4 is 8 minus 6, right? So it's going to be 20 over 2. Okay, so that's a positive number, so it's positive. All right, so then where's my solution? My solution is between 2 and 3, right? Because I was looking for when this is going to be less than 0. So I'm between 2 and 3. So there you go. There's my solution. 2 and 3. Soft parentheses instead of the hard bracket because we don't actually equal 2 and 3. We're just going to get close to 2 and 3.